Hello there, good evening, and welcome to another exciting episode of Diplomatic Affairs here on Pan African Television. It is the only show that brings you all happenings around diplomacy across the world and international relations. My name is Stanley Koblaku, and I'm standing in for your regular host, Harriet Nati. On today's edition, the second edition of Africa Prosperity Dialogues has been launched here in Accra. The colorful and breathtaking event is a brainchild of Africa Prosperity Network, also aimed at fostering strategic partnerships for business development and reflecting on the action compact for this year. We have these and many other diplomacy stories and international relations stories coming up shortly. Please stay with us.
In previous seasons, you saw this.
You are not allowed to hawk or preach in commercial vehicles.
The perception in Ghana is abortion is illegal, and we don't follow up with the exceptions.
The existence of the customary marriage is no prerequisite
For the ordinance
marriage.
Yes. And now, are you ready for this?
Some people express the fact that they don't go on leave with pride.
Accumulated leave, like they term it, is illegal.
Because in Ghana we don't have enough lawyers, and the accused can apply for bail where he has no lawyer.
Knowing full well that you have an STI and you do not reveal that to the person and you have this sexual contact with the person, it is also part of domestic violence.
Join the Law Express panel for relevant, informative, and educative topics.
It is clear that if the court grants bail, it is the registrar of the court that has the power to deal with execution of the bail.
All matrimonial properties that are sold without the consent of the other party are actually null and void.
As part of the Foreign Ministry's solidarization policy, while acknowledging representatives of countries and institutions in recognition to their commitment to the socio-economic development of Ghana, the Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, Shirley Ayako Botre, says the decline in the number of confirmed COVID-19 cases observed in Ghana since April 25, 2020 can be attributed to the measures taken by the government in cooperation with its citizenry, as well as the invaluable support and commitment provided by donor countries and institutions. The minister further intimated that the collective efforts of the support towards Ghana's developmental agenda are truly immeasurable, and she is therefore delighted to host this award ceremony in honor of Ghana's donor partners who have generously assisted the country throughout the years.
Indeed, the collective efforts of your support towards Ghana's developmental agenda are truly immeasurable. Today's ceremony, however, serves as a special recognition of a strong partnership between our respective governments and organizations. This partnership has been exemplified through the provision of personal protective equipment, PPEs, various vaccines, and other crucial medical supplies during the global COVID-19 pandemic. Allow me to recall the recent statement made by His Excellency the President of Ghana on the 14th of March 2023, wherein he acknowledged that, and I quote, "Our relative success in winning the fight against COVID-19 is a testament to the tireless work of our researchers, scientists, advisors, public health managers, frontline healthcare workers, hospital staff, contact tracers, the security services, public and private sector agencies, faith-based organizations, and many others. It is now the opportune time to honor our international partners who stood by our side during the challenging period of the COVID-19 pandemic. Therefore, I must say here that this is an extension of the award ceremony presided over by the President on the 14th of March. I am only here representing him in doing today's awards ceremony, presenting to our international partners. The decline in the number of confirmed cases observed in Ghana since 25th of April 2020 can be attributed to the measures taken by the government in cooperation with the people of Ghana, as well as the invaluable support provided by you to this country. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as at 7th of June 2023, the total number of reported COVID-19 cases in the country since the outbreak on the 12th of March 2020 stands at 171,653, with 1,462 deaths. With COVID-19 vaccination centers established across the country, the government of Ghana has successfully administered over 24,941,922 doses of vaccines as at the end of May 2023, and will continue to vaccinate more eligible individuals. It is worth noting that on the 5th of May 2023, the World Health Organization declared that COVID-19 no longer qualifies as a global health emergency after more than 3 years of global health alerts. The global pandemic has taught us the importance of global partnerships. Since no country is an island, it is also possible to transform existing threats into opportunities, fostering resilience and achieving a better recovery through knowledge sharing among countries that have been at the forefront of the fight against the pandemic. In line with this vision, His Excellency the President of Ghana in May 2023 commissioned the National Vaccine Manufacturing Plant, collaborating with key partners from the private and public sectors, academic and research institutions, as well as organizations like the World Health Organization, GIZ, and the European Union. This initiative aligns with the goal of local vaccine development and manufacturing for the continent. The government and the people of Ghana consider it a great honor to acknowledge your partnership and support during this significant period in our country's history. It therefore gives us great pleasure to present these awards to you on behalf of His Excellency the President and the government and people of Ghana, in recognition of your unwavering friendship and goodwill, particularly during a time when we all needed to be each other's keeper. It is my fervent hope that health diplomacy will endure for the mutual benefit of all parties as we rally around the shared principles and values which defines our common interest. To conclude, let me seize this opportunity to reiterate Ghana's appreciation for the commandery shown to our dear nation Ghana by your respective governments and organizations, and to express our most profound gratitude for the overwhelming support.
Various representatives from donor partners took turns in receiving awards on behalf of their countries and institutions.
Okay, ready? Let's come back to
Agenda 2063, the strategic framework for the socio-economic transformation of a continent over the next 5 decades, is an ambitious vision that envisions an integrated, prosperous, and peaceful Africa driven by its own citizens and representing a dynamic force in the global arena. One of its most powerful components, the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA), is creating a single continental market for goods and services with free movement of business persons and investments. The welcome ceremony for Dr. Akosazana Dlamini Zuma was graced by dignitaries drawn from politics, business, academia, and the diplomatic community. The event equally created an opportunity for Africans to understand her inspiration behind Agenda 2063. Speaking at the ceremony, Secretary General of the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfTA) Secretariat, Wamkili Meni, eulogized the untiring effort of heroes and heroines who fought a good fight for our freedom and further encouraged young people to be interested in building an Africa we want.
It is very important that we honor people once they're still alive, that we recognize their contributions once they're still with us. And so, in a matter of a few days, we decided that we must honor our former chairperson for her contribution to building Africa, introducing reforms in the African Union Commission, and ensuring that when we talk about gender equality, equality of opportunities in institutions such as the AFCFTA Secretariat, the African Union Commission, that it's not just a slogan, that we see the impact of the desire and the objective to have gender parity. I also shared with Honorable Minister that as the Secretariat, we have 50-50 gender parity. We have all regions of the African continent represented here. It is, for me, a very, very important priority. When people express interest in particular positions, foremost in my mind is, are we adhering to the principle of gender parity, which was introduced by Honorable Minister when she was the chairperson of the African Union Commission. The last point I would make is, often we say, and we quote, we say, what were the founding mothers and fathers, what was the rationale when they drafted this document or this treaty? What were they thinking? So today we have an opportunity to hear from the principal architect. What was the rationale for Agenda 2063, the Africa we want, which all of us correctly claim is Africa's economic blueprint? It's very unusual that we have such an opportunity. We also must recognize that the AFCFTA is not a standalone institution. It's not a standalone objective. It is part of Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. It is embedded as one of the flagship projects. And so I'm very grateful that Honorable Minister is here today to see the fruits of her labor and to see one of the flagship projects being in existence.
Former chairperson of the African Union Commission, Dr. Akuzazana Dlamini Zuma, called for a robust approach in exporting raw materials and urged countries to invest more in equipping their labor force to cope with attendant challenges and difficulties. According to her, the involvement of women in recognizable and respectable leadership roles will go a long way to make Africa better.
Trade, in my view, is not about raw materials. Our colonizers did that. They still continue to want to buy raw materials from us. I think that should stop. And that's new. We're not going to be trading rocks and stuff. And we must trade manufactured goods because as your president, chief of staff always tells us, we are the biggest exporters of revenue. Because if you export raw material, one, you export jobs, higher level jobs. Then you export revenue because by the time that is a finished good, it's probably 10 times or more expensive than the raw. And sometimes, look at the things we send when they come back, most of us can't even afford them. So that is really something that you must work at and work at fast.
Thank you very much for being the pathfinder, and thank you for making all the right sacrifices on our behalf. We really appreciate it.
In 2022, a private, independent, and non-profit organization termed Africa Prosperity Network was established in Ghana as a continental framework focused on fostering advocacy for the collective ownership for the implementation of African Union's Agenda 2063. This year's edition, held at the African Trade House in Accra, was graced by the network of leaders in African politics and politics to champion the collective agenda of creating prosperity on the continent. Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, Mayor Kier, urged Africans to work collaboratively in order to create prosperity for themselves. Delivering his address, he further intimated that prosperity exceeds beyond economic growth and involves social progress, environmental sustainability, good governance, and respect for human rights.
The Africa Prosperity Dialogues serve as a crucial platform for engagement, exchange of ideas, and forging partnerships focused on promoting sustainable development across the continent. It is heartening to witness the commitment of African nations, international organizations, and the diplomatic community in working hand in hand to address the complex challenges faced by African countries. Africa needs urgent solutions. In the words of President Akufo-Addo, we need quick wins. This means we need more internal collaborations to take steps that will create prosperity for more Africans.
Secretary General of the African Free Trade Continental Area Secretariat, Wamkele Mene, touted his outfit's role in championing development across the continent. According to him, the private sector remained critical to the implementation of African Free Trade Continental Area, which would create jobs, spur on innovations, and place Africa on the path of competitiveness.
Many people don't know about the African Continental Free Trade Area, that it is one of 13 flagship projects of the African Union. It is embedded in Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. I was at a university a few months ago, and a young woman said to me, spoke very passionately about Agenda 2063, the Africa we want. The principal architects of the AFCFTA are strong women. We found a moving train, a train that was started by strong women. I boarded a moving train that was already, the foundation was already built by very, very strong African women leaders. And we must acknowledge their contribution. It is absolutely critical that we move with the private sector as one of the pillars of implementation of the AFCFTA. That is why what Dr. Macaulay mentioned is so critical, and that is the network of private sector that we are trying to establish at regional level, ECOWAS, at national level, to drive implementation of the AFCFTA, to create jobs for young Africans, to spur on innovation, and to place our continent on a path for competitiveness.
The second lady, Haja Samira Baumia, also stressed the need to empower women, promote gender equality, and remove systematic barriers as a means of encouraging their full participation in social, political, and economic endeavor.
As we embark on this transformative journey, we must prioritize the empowerment of women. Empowering women is not only a moral imperative, but a strategic choice for sustainable development. Globally, women still occupy only 25.7% of all available parliamentary positions, 7.2% of head of state positions, 6.2%